Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on Arise News. The Edo State government in Nigeria, like all other subnationals, is concerned with its housing deficit. The government estimates the deficit to be about 300,000 homes. Here's a quote from the Managing Director of the Edo State Development and Property Corporation, as the ESDPC. He said recently, funding is one of the biggest challenges we are facing. The Godwin Obaseki-led administration has divided means of delivering by partnering with the private sector, which has provided about 1,000 housing units from 2017 till date. So joining us from Benin City to discuss further, we have, we've got, of course, the Honourable Commissioner for Edo State Ministry of Physical Planning, Housing, Urban and Regional Development, Isoken Omo, joining us. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here. So I wanted to start with, how you can chip away at that housing deficit in Edo State, based on those estimates.
Okay, good afternoon, and thank you for having me in here. Like you rightly said, the issue of housing deficit is not unique to Edo. It is a Nigerian and also to an extent a global problem. And what we are trying to do is to deal with the needs as it affects us in Edo State. Right now, we are working closely with our people to make sure that what we deliver is fit for our people. And like you talked about the MD of our property development company, we have looked at the major cities in Edo, being Benin City, Auchi, and Ekpoma, where the majority of our people are residing, and we've looked at what are the options that we want to provide for them, what housing options do we want to give to them for them to live a very, very optimal life, and also to ensure that businesses continually thrive in Edo. So in that regard, what we have done, we have looked at Benin City, the issues of the urban sprawl and how we are going to deal with that. And in doing that, we have gone ahead to segment the state and the demographics of our people. Using that data, we've decided to regenerate the city, and in doing that, we have started creating new towns across the city from the bypass. And one of that is what we have recently just launched, which is the Coral City. Now, the Coral City, its intention is to remove the pressure from the city center and provide smart housing for our people across the state. And in Coral City, we are providing what we have not done before. And in doing that, we are looking at giving people alternatives that would compete with anywhere in the world. And these alternatives that we are offering include, for the first time, we're giving 24 hours power. There's going to be full reticulation of water, technology, and we're going to have living spaces that make people to come out in their best form. We have neighborhood centers, leisure centers, we have a golf course, we have businesses there that will ensure that people do not leave the city, migrate back to Benin City, but are able to live there optimally. So everything that is required within that city, we have provided. The span of the area is 1,229 hectares of land, portioned into 4 different areas, and at the moment we are concentrating on Portion A. Portion A is 338 hectares, and these 338 hectares, we have in that 1,300 plots. The 1,300 plots, out of it, we have about 70% of it for residential. We have a multipurpose corridor. We have commercial, we have industrial, we have educational, health, and so many offerings.
Awesome.
So what
awesome
we are
stuff.
doing here is to give the first
Great stuff.
The first pilot of
okay, I just want to ask you how many this Coral Center, how many housing units are there in this new development you're talking about?
like I said to you, we have 1,300 plots.
Okay.
And out of these 1,300 plots, over 900 of them are for residential. And the residential is both low, medium, and high. So we are estimating that in this city, we're going to have in excess of 25,000 households in the area we're dealing with right now.
Okay, so 25,000, that's your estimates. And from the quotes that we had from the ESDPMD, 1,000 units from 2017. So that's 26,000 from 2017 to your forecast, but you still have a deficit of about 300,000, right? You can take away the 25,000, you still have over 270 something thousand. So the question I want to ask is, though, in terms of delivering, I want to ask the fiscal structure of Edo State. So the debts, right, and which is something the governor has talked about at the nationwide level, how debts in the country is limiting the ability for projects like this, like housing. Edo State's debts, I think it grew by about 40% from 70-something billion to about 110. I think it's 78 billion to about 110 billion in 2022. So that's at the bottom of the table there. So how can you deliver on housing goals when you've got this level of debts that is impacting on your fiscal ability to be able to build these extra homes as far as real estate is concerned?
Okay, thank you. Actually, this project is funded outside of our balance sheet. What the government is providing is the land, and the infrastructure, we are funding it through part of it from government and part of it from our receivables. What we have tried to do is to work with the private sector to make sure that this development is able to fund itself. Now, like I said to you, we are the power, water, all that is being private sector driven, and we have also made sure that it is priced at a point where it is easy for people to actually get on it and be able to continue to fund it. So we are not relying on government for the houses to be provided, because we are also very aware that that is not the way to go for housing provision. If we're going to rely on government, then obviously that the housing deficit, as we talk about it today, will really not decrease. We want a situation where the enabling environment is provided by government and private sector is able to come in and provide these houses to people, offering different options of both mortgages, staggered payments, and other options within the market. We are also looking at other incentives being provided by agencies who are looking at energy efficiency and better living, so that we also use those funds from those initiatives to drive down the delivery prices of these houses. And so that's how we're doing it, and we're increasing it, we're doing it incrementally. Obviously, we're not going to be able to reduce the 300,000 housing deficit over a short period. It's going to be initiatives that will be put in place over a long period of time, and as we continue to put confidence in the system, people feel more comfortable to invest. So what we've done in Edo is to make sure that Edo has initiatives that make investors comfortable to continue to invest here, and that cuts across all our industries and all sectors. So all of these sectors that would all require one form of housing or the other, we have made sure that we have incentives in them to make people feel comfortable to come in and invest.
Great stuff. Okay, so as far as the building of the houses and the cost of doing so, I'll have to bring in inflation here, right? So if we compare inflation in Edo State versus the rest of the country, it's higher. So headline inflation in Edo State, as far as July was concerned, 24.81%. For the country, is 24.08%. That's on a year on year. Month on month, it's also higher, 3.38, versus 2.89. Maybe I don't need to bring in food because we're talking about real estate here, so maybe I'll be looking at core inflation. But as far as the cost of building materials and then the foreign exchange dynamic of importing building materials to build at scale, to where you can build enough for investors to come in, can you speak to that? So isn't that a hindrance to expanding your real estate footprint, even for private investors that you want to come in, as far as the costs are concerned?
The cost, as we all know, is a major factor. And with inflation the way it is, we are very, very aware of that. And that is why what we are trying to do is to look at different bouquets to try and put it at a manageable state. As you are aware, some of these indices are outside our control. But within us, what we're also putting is to put things in place here. I would give some typical example. Many of the materials we are using for construction are locally sourced here in Edo State. Cement, most of the materials we have, cement, steel, major elements are being produced here, and using them here, there's certain costs that will significantly reduce. Cost of transportation and such logistics are taken away because we are using them within our local environment. And also we are also bulk purchasing a lot of these things and giving forward orders to enable the people who are producing it to have confidence to be able to deliver to us at prices that are manageable. So we are using what we have within Edo State, what are things that are comparative advantage to work towards this housing provision. So we've actually looked at it, and we are sure that with the way we're going, we'll be able to deliver this incrementally. Like I said to you earlier, it is not something that we're going to do over a short period of time. It's a long period of time, but we've also put things in place to make sure that our comparative advantage of having these things locally produced here are used to our benefits.
Great stuff. Okay, so I want to ask you about the private sector. Since you say this is a partnership with the private sector in order to get, at least for this new development that you're talking about, what are private sector players in the real estate sector and developers, what are they telling you? Because if we look at the most recent ease of doing business ranking from PEBEC, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Survey, Edo State ranks last. It's 37th out of 37 states, including the FCT, which for 2023 fell from 34th in 2021. So, maybe you can dispute the survey if you want to, but the question I ask you is, what are private sector developers? What are they telling you as far as what they want to see in order for them to come in and build?
Okay, for the ease of doing business, we've seen that report and we've actually contested it. That is another matter that ESIPO will be better suited to answer. But I'll tell you what the private sector people are looking for. Private sector people that have spoken to us, one of the major issues for them is access to land and titling, how soon they can get their title out. And as you are aware, we have overhauled all that process through our Edo GIS. And it is on record here that we are among the few states that have drastically reduced the cost of titling and the titling process, so that the primary document that is being used for property development comes at a very, very competitive rate. And also the process is also actually been streamlined, because a lot of people that come here want to be sure, how do I get the land, how will the land be available, and what infrastructure is there. On the infrastructure, we've also taken the corridors that we're going to develop. We have targeted our infrastructure in that corridor to reduce the cost of delivery of these properties to the purchasers. So the major collector roads are being provided by the state, while most of the developers come in to do their internal roads. So those things that would actually be issues for them are not there. Also, I will talk about things like power, because we have also started with the independent power, and the figures are there showing that what we're getting here in the Edo is cheaper than what is given at the moment. All those things are put in, and the private sector, the reception we've gotten from them has been very, very positive, because a lot of them have committed into this development, and the figures that we have seen are very encouraging. So it is totally doable at the scope and the volume that we are starting with.
All right, so I want to ask you, you mentioned smart cities, right? We've got some definitions for smart cities, just in case anyone is wondering. If we can look at what those definitions are. We took a couple definitions for what a smart city is, and also its characteristics. So this is from Sharon Sher. She's an executive director at a company called Tech Target, saying a smart city is a municipality that uses information and communication technologies to increase operational efficiency, share information with the public, and improve both the quality of government services and citizen welfare. We also put up some characteristics of a smart city. Okay, yeah. While the exact definition varies, the overarching mission of a smart city is to optimize city functions and drive economic growth while improving quality of life for its citizens using smart technology and data analysis. Yeah. So I want you to put that in perspective, and then also the characteristics. So technology-based infrastructure, environmental initiatives, high-functioning public transportation system, confident sense of urban planning, and then for humans to live, work, and utilize the city's resources. Does the Smart City Initiative for Edo State, does it all fit within what we've put on screen here?
Okay, yes, I'm very happy that you would bring that up, because today, as I speak to you, 1st of September, Edo State government services went live on E. So we started our e-transformation a while ago, and today we went totally paperless, and that is all in using technology to drive our initiatives and to make everywhere smarter. So you've talked about smart using information and communication technology. I can assure you that as we speak today, Edo is the only state who, as of today, we have already laid out optic fiber across the 18 local governments to make sure that we have the technology to drive the initiatives that we are putting down. And all this affects, we are doing e-health, we are doing e-education. You know very well about our Edo Best. We are doing e-health, we are doing e-tourism. So we have actually gone well ahead, and this is also what are the things that we are bringing even to this smart offering right now. So we're at the end of our urban regional development plan and Benin City master plan, and one of the things that is really driving these master plans is technology, and we have invested a lot in technology in Edo, and that is what we're using. So for the definition of being smart, of course I would say the objective for us is to optimize the services that people are getting, make it easy for them by the use of technology to access these services, and this affects totally the way the city is going to be run. So we are already on our way there. We are well aware of this, and we've actually looked at similar cities like us and learned from them, gone on visits and looked at them and tried to domesticate it to the Edo story to make sure that we deliver it according to what is expected by the definitions. So we are well on it.
Okay, so and it's very ambitious, I have to say, with what Edo State has been doing. So, but if one was to say to you, Honourable Commissioner, that shouldn't Edo State focus on closing its housing gap before wanting to go for smart cities? So, would you be saying that you can do both at the same time?
Yeah, I would have to say to you that yes, we have to do at the same time, because if we are closing the housing gap without putting in technology, then we're still going to have to come past this road again to make it fit for the present day and the future. So we are doing the two together, because we want to make sure that the houses that we are providing now are houses that meet international standards as far as smart is concerned. We recently were in Taiwan at the Smart City Summit, and we went round to look at what they are doing and how they are doing it, and how this has been able to improve the lives of people. So we cannot pursue the reduction of housing deficit without looking at how to make it efficient. So the smart part of it ensures that efficiency comes into the system and ensures that we do not go back to repeat what has already been done. So yes, we might not be going at a large scope, because we want to make sure that everything that we're doing, they are well tested and they are working, so that as we start to increase, we would improve on what we are providing. So I am very confident that it is the way to go. We'll be doing both the smart and in that same time trying to reduce the housing deficit.
Great stuff. I should, of course, let our viewers know that you are an award winner. I think it was in 2022 that you received an award with respect to where you are right now. Okay, let me get this out here. Award ceremony held in Abuja. This was for the African Housing Awards. So you, of course, did win, emerged as the Physical Planning Commissioner of the Year at the Africa Housing Awards 2022. So well done on that. We wish you the best of luck and the Edo State government as you push forward with your Smart Cities initiative and also closing the housing deficit. I want to thank you very much for joining us, Honourable Commissioner. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. And we look forward to inviting you over to Edo to see how far we have come. We are not just talking, we are walking the talk. So I want to encourage you to come and see for yourself how far we've gone with technology. We are not used to sounding our own symbols. We want you to see by what we have done. So thank you very much for having me today. Come and experience our Coral City and other initiatives, and I'm sure you will be convinced that this is the way to go.
All right. Isoken Omo, Honourable Commissioner, Edo State Ministry of Physical Planning, Housing, Urban and Regional Development.